Hey everybody, this is Mr. Brooks, and today I'm going to go over some select problems on the geometry review. This is Unit 1 of Geometry, which is our Unit 2. If you remember, Unit 1 was Foundations of Algebra, and that was to get us used to, so we can do all the problems. Not too bad. Ours was called Lines and Logic, and it really is your basic introduction to geometry with vocab, and we spent some time on vocab and drawing, and you need to know all these. You need to understand the words that they're trying to say, so that when you read the prompts, you understand what's going on. On the test, you're given 3 formulas. Here's 2 of them. This is midpoint and distance. You're also given the line partitioning formula, and you're not expected to memorize these, but you are expected to know how to use them. And of course, that takes practice. So, you just plug and chug, put the numbers in, and work down the math. It does take practice, and, you need to make some mistakes to realize, where, how to do it properly. So, the test is multiple choice, so this is not, but I think that, getting an answer here is going to help you with multiple choice, so you're not just guessing. I want to talk about these 2. I add this one in. The first one says, find the midpoint and distance between each pair, so that's the midpoint formula and distance formula. And the midpoint says that take the 2 x's and add them together and then divide by 2. And so it's x, and then the same thing for the y, 2 plus 5 divided by 2. And this is your point. And so this would be negative 4 over 2, which would be negative 2. And this would be 7 over 2, which is 3.5. And so your midpoint is going to be at 3.5. The distance is going to be square root, and then we're going to find the distance between the x's and square them, and then the distance between the y's and square them. And anytime you think about the distance, you're thinking about subtracting. So the x values are negative 2, negative 2, and I'm just going to change that to plus. And then, and if you think about this, this is going to be 0 squared. If you think about it, you're going from negative 2 to negative 2. So of course, we're not traveling anywhere on the x, but we're not traveling anywhere horizontally. This is going to be 5 minus 2, which is 3 squared, which is 0 plus 9, which is 9, which is 3. Right? Square root of 9 is 3. Okay, and then right here, best thing to do is to write out what it is. This is 3, 3, and this is 5, negative 3. So the distance is going to be 3 plus 5 and 3 plus negative 3. It's going to be 3, negative 3. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, just double checking something in my head. 8 over 2. I should really just trust the formula. It's always, I do want you to think about, though, to make sure it makes sense. Sometimes it's easy to overthink. This is going to be 0, so 4, 0. Does this make sense? Well, 4 zeros right here. That is the midpoint. I was thinking distance-wise, how could it be? But it's not really the distance. It's just the average. So for the distance, it'll be, and notice how I write this out. What I do is I draw the formula first, and then I just plug in the numbers. Sometimes that's helpful as a strategy, is just draw the formula and then plug in. So the x's are 5 and 3 and negative 3 and 3. So this is going to be 2 squared plus 6 squared. And this is negative 6 squared, but it doesn't matter because anytime you square it, you're going to get a positive number. So this is 4 plus 36 is 40. And this you can say is 2 root 10 if you want. You can also put it as a decimal, but you should be able to go either way with simplifying and putting in the decimals. These two are not on the test. Don't worry about using a protractor. We didn't do it. I think it's a good skill, but... Okay, so the next one is going to be these angle addition postulates, and this is just angle 1 plus angle 2 equals the whole thing, and then you might use some algebra to solve for the missing. So it says UTS, that's the whole thing, is 150, and that's equal to the two other sides added together. So UTN is 36, and find the missing one, NTS. So 36 plus this equals the whole thing. And we're going to just subtract across. And so the missing side, this X is NTS, right? That is 120, 114. I think that's right. Yep. Okay. And then we get to the same exact thing. It's this exact thing, except we're using expressions now instead of integers. So it says MLK, that's the whole thing, is 154, is equal to MLI is 3x plus 13, so that's that. And then ILK is 8 plus 16x. And so it's the same thing. The total is equal to the two parts. Combine like terms first. 16 plus 3x is 19x. And 13 plus 8 is 21. And then it's two-step problems, so minus 21. And that's 133. And then 19x, so divide by 19. 7. So x is equal to 7. Don't forget that you should always go back and check the problem because it might not be solved for x. Like here, we're not solving for x, we're solving for MLI. So this part here is 3x plus 13. So that's 3 times 7 plus 13 is 21 plus 13 is 34. And then this one is you have to know and understand like what the congruency markings are and everything. So what I see is that measure of angle R, so this one is congruent to this one, is congruent to measure angle U. And then this line segment is congruent to this line segment, so RT is congruent to TU. Is there anything else that I know? Nothing else is given. So don't assume. Like you might say, well, this is this, but don't assume it. Okay. If it's not given to you, or if you can't prove it, then just don't assume. Okay. Name the relationship. A and B are vertical, and they are congruent. B and A are adjacent, which means they're beside each other. A and B are a linear pair, and that is supplementary. And then A and B here are complementary, which means it adds up to 90 degrees. Let's see. The full circle is 360, so it's 360 minus 294. I don't know why I wrote that. And then also you can add 42 to it, plus b. So the total 360 is equal to 294 plus 42 plus b. I kind of changed what I was thinking. I know I'm going to subtract it. I was trying to minus it right away, but so I'm going to set up the total circles equal to part A, part B, part C. There's probably more than one way to do it, but let's see. 294 plus 42 is 336. So 360 is equal to 336 plus B, and then minus 336. Let's see. That's 224. Yep. So that's B. Sorry, I want to, I'm looking at my paper, not at the screen. I want to make sure you guys have a chance to see that. Let's see, okay, on the back, find the value of x. So I'm given these two angles, and you might say, well, what are these two angles to each other? Well, they're a linear pair. So that means that 3x plus 2 plus 73 is equal to 180. Anytime you have a straight line like that, it's a linear pair. And combine like terms, it's 3x plus 75 equals 180. And then 3x is equal to 105. And then divide both sides by 3. Given I is the midpoint, so I is the midpoint, and maybe you come over here and mark them congruent. Maybe that helps you. Wi is 5x plus 12. So this is 5x minus 12. And In is 2x plus 6. Find x. Okay, so what do we do? Well, since this is congruent to this, these are congruent to each other. So combine, not combine like terms, but bring your x's together. That's 3x, and then add 12 to both sides. I want the x's on one side, and I want the constants on the other. So I brought all the x's to one, I'm bringing all the constants to the other side. 6 plus 12 is 18, so x is equal to 6. And then find Wi. You can really plug 6 into either one of these because these two are equal to each other, but just for sake, we'll just plug it in right here. So that's 30. Oops, sorry. I plugged 6 into this because we're finding Wi. Let's see, 30 minus 12, and 30 minus 12 is 18. And then we're going to come down here to the application. And it says graph point A, B, and C, connect the points to make a triangle, and then find BA. When this says find BA, this is talking about the length. And then it's gonna give us more information. So let's plot these. So 4, 7. There we go. So my first point is 4, 7. So 4, 7. 0, 0, and 8, 1 is right here. So these make a triangle. And sometimes it's fun to be a little bit more precise. You know, you don't have to be, but if you make your work look nice, then you'll appreciate it a little bit more. All right, here's our fun little triangle. And it says find BA. So BA is between 0, 0 and 4, 7. And we're gonna use this one. This is 4 minus 0 7 minus 0. And this is 4 squared plus 7 squared is 16 plus 49. 16 plus 49, 65. So it's equal to the square root of 65. Can we simplify the square root of 65? No. There's not a perfect square. You can think about it. I always think, can I simplify it? But in this case, I can't. So BC is 65, so that means that A, B, and B, I guess I should label these, B and A and C. So BA and BC are congruent. Ooh, looks like we have a nice isosceles triangle. Find the midpoint of, oh, they're congruent. And then find the midpoint of AC. So the midpoint of AC is 4 plus 8 divided by 2 and 7 plus 1 divided by 2. That's gonna be 6 over 4, or not 6 over 4, but 6, 4. So 6, 4 is right here. That makes sense. So that's 6, 4. And then draw BD on the graph. Oh, mark it as D. Draw BD on the graph. BD is the bisector. That makes sense because it's the midpoint. And then this is congruent here. And since I have one marking here, I'm going to use 2 lines here for this side. And then there's also, we're going to talk about this reflexive property in the future, because we know that this is congruent to this, and this is congruent and it's kind of the same. It is the same side, and then this is congruent and this shares it. So these 2 triangles are what we call congruent. Both these triangles are exactly the same, okay? That's it. All right, good luck.